The Public Protector has given the Department of Higher Education and Training and other implicated parties 60 days to respond to damning provisional findings after an investigation into the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS. Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka has shared her findings with the media in Pretoria. She also cited an SIU investigation that found NSFAS improperly funded more than 40,000 students to the value of about 5.1 billion rand. Of that, only 2 billion rand has been recovered to date. Let's speak to the Public Protector who joins us now for that conversation. Good evening to you and thank you for your time. So given just how critical the scheme is, the NSFAS is in facilitating access to empowering higher education for some of the poorest and working class people from working class families in our country. This is an institution that, arguably is on a no-fail mission, but failure is what you've found. What are the outlines and contours of the failures that you've identified?
Good evening to Nasizo and good evening to the SABC viewers. What we've actually found, to Nasizo, is quite disturbing, is that for almost a decade now, NSFAS has actually been in a crisis, with NSFAS having had 3 administrators within 8 years, and of the 8 years, over 4 years, they've actually been functioning under administration where the ministers had placed them under administration for the reasons that there had been governance and administrative lapses. Basically that they were not able to execute their mandate effectively and efficiently.
So what made that possible? And you rightly point out the number of administrators that have come and gone. And even as you and I are having this conversation, we are still talking about an NSFAS that had been placed under administration. Then the courts sought to overturn that, albeit temporarily pending a fuller review. Why couldn't these administrative processes fix the systems at NSFAS? And what exactly is broken that they could not fix?
Firstly, I think from a policy level, there's a challenge. NSFAS itself claims that they do not have adequate resources. However, when you look at the fiscal leaks, for instance, cited in the SIU report, as well as the Auditor General's report, you then realize that the justification for them not to be able to execute their functions effectively is not financial resources, but it is a leadership challenge, which then creates a governance and an administrative challenge. Firstly, the model itself, it's clearly not working. There is no cooperation and working together between the NSFAS, the institutions of higher learning. It is very clear, even from the issues of their records and their data reconciliation, which have caused some of that actually put through their means test ICT system, which is actually non-existent, relying on third parties for the collection of their data, relying on third parties for the payments. But on a policy level, the issue, who does NSFAS actually fund? There's the issue of the missing middle. Money was allocated to them for 3 years, from 2024 to 2027. Those funds could not be utilized because NSFAS did not have a system through which to disperse those funds. Now, firstly, why did they seek the funds knowing that they do not have the system to use funds? Why didn't they prepare for that prior to seeking those funds? There's hundreds of thousands, in fact, about 4,000 plus students who had actually applied for that and they could not receive those funds. Further, there's the issue of the N1, the N+. Yeah. Now, the N+, these are students who would have received part of their qualification, but who require to further their studies in order to obtain certification for that particular qualification. Why would you, in the first instance, fund somebody halfway? That is wasteful because they won't be able to complete the qualification, find a job or work in any other manner or be in the labor market if that qualification is not fully funded. The issue of the closeout report, the debt, the outstanding debt, the historical debt that has still to date not been resolved, late payment of allowances, late payment of tertiary institutions. So I mean, it's something that one doesn't want to say, but the truth is nothing really works at NSFAS, and this has been proven through NSFAS being put under administration.
So those are quite strong words, Public Protector. We don't have the best of lines to you. I'm hoping that it holds while you give us a sense then of the 60 days that we are talking about. What is it that you'd want NSFAS and other stakeholders, and I suppose I emphasize other stakeholders because from my reading of what you have said is that it's because this system is administered between NSFAS, universities, and other stakeholders. So what is it that you want to see them do over the next 60 days that can ensure that we don't have the situation where some 40,000 students have been improperly funded?
Firstly, the first recommendation. So I've taken both recommendations as well as remedial action. On recommendations is on policy issues, is to look at a proper model, funding model for higher education. Secondly, the vehicle to deliver that. And the recommendation is very clear. There must be direct payment to universities. We've even done research, looked at other countries, how these payment systems are done, the recovery of the debt is done. So even within government itself, without outsourcing agencies, they can be able to set up systems and ensure that there's an efficient and effective financial aid scheme and recovery of funds. Secondly, the issue of the N+, the issue of the certificates which are withheld by universities because of the historical debts that students actually have. We feel that is counterproductive because that prevents graduates from actually entering the job market because of the absence of certificates. And there's further remedial actions now in terms of the systems which will actually prevent the fiscal leak, but also consequence management that needs to take place.
All right. Public Protector, thank you for your time this evening. I'm out of time. Just one or two words quickly, just for clarity. Our reporting says these are damning provisional findings, but as I'm listening to you, it sounds like it's a final report. Is it provisional or is it final?
No, it is not the final report. It is still our Section 7.9, which allows them then to make representations should there be areas where they do not agree with us.
All right, got you. Thank you for that. That's Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka, the Public Protector there, talking matters that have come through from an investigation into the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, the NSFAS. The line did let us down here and there, and we do apologize for that, but we are hoping that you got enough out of that conversation.